Texas Mortgage Boss Podcast. My name is James J. And today I am joined by Edward Wang. He is the broker owner of EW and Associates Realty. And today we're going to talk about 2 reasons why waiting to purchase a home could cost you. Let's go. Edward, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey James, how's it going?
Good, man. Good to talk to you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't seen you at the gym. So, I mean, it's mostly my fault because I don't know.
I wasn't gonna say anything about that, Edward, but hey,
I got so busy lately.
life is
Yeah,
busy, man. I get it, man. Well, I am excited to have you on here. And I think probably the last time you were on, it may have been when you were actually starting your brokerage. I don't know if it's been that long. Maybe we've spoken since then, but a lot has changed since the last time we spoke for sure. So
yeah,
uh, I know you have seen a lot, especially in 2021. We're starting out this year and kind of slowly starting off right now, but we're gonna give people some context on why waiting would actually could actually cost them, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of expectations for interest rates. There's a lot for the market, what's going to happen with inventory, all this stuff going on. But we're going to specifically give people 2 reasons why waiting. And there's more than 2, but we're just going to get into a couple of them as to why waiting could actually cost you. But give people some context, man. Tell them about your background. You got your own brokerage, but give a little Cliff Note version about your real estate career, because you're almost like born into this. Seems like it.
yeah. Well, I'm kind of born this background. My whole family is in the real estate business,
Yep.
and yeah, so picking this up, it was kind of like, I mean, I used to be in the consulting field, so
Yeah.
I'm just adding my consultant touch into the real estate.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. So your company, EW and Associates, you guys actually started when the pandemic first hit. That was the year you started, right? Was it the year before?
Yes, yes. A lot of people have been telling me that that's very risky to start. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm deployed. I'm gonna gas it, and then
Yep.
hey, it's crazy.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's probably worked out. Go ahead. Go ahead, Evan. Go
we've
ahead.
been doing at least 6 to 7 closes a month. You know, just myself.
Yeah.
But not including my other teammates. They also coach a lot as well. Yes.
Right. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
because we had that conversation about you starting it in the midst of a pandemic. Yeah, I remember now, because a lot of people were like, "You sure this is a good time ever?" And of course, obviously, it turned out to be one of the best years in real estate in
It is.
2020, and then
Yeah.
2021 trumped that, which is just crazy. But it looks like we may be headed towards something similar in 2022. Now, we're going to get into this because 2022, with interest rates already rising a little bit, inflation, all that stuff is going to affect the housing market. It is. Now, is it going to come to a complete halt? Of course not. But it's definitely going to have an impact with our, your market, my market, which is basically the same thing. But we're going to get into that part. So, for you, where do you basically see the first thing I wanted to kind of give people some insight about is home prices. So I want you to speak to this. What you think for 2022? Because again, I know you are very well versed in the market. You know what's going on. You've got a lot of investors too that you
Yes,
work with.
I do.
So I want to get
Mhm.
your take on the first thing as far as why waiting might cost you. Let's talk about home prices for 2022.
Okay. For 2022, home prices really depending on the supply and demand, right?
Yep.
So far we still have very low supply.
Yep.
We still have high demand, and then right now with all these things going on in the world, we have a disruption in supply chain. So a lot of these
Yes.
home builders will just finish a home in
Yeah.
about, I want to say, 6 months.
Yep.
It takes them up to a year now
It's
to finish
crazy.
construction.
Yeah.
And then and then another thing is with the inflation going up, prices is going up, and then the lumber price,
Yes.
it's just kind of slowing everything. Yeah. So what I'm seeing here, is the price of the home. Well, with the inflation going up, you kind of have to think about it this way. 2 years ago, you go to Costco.
Hmm.
You go happy shopping around, throwing stuff into your shopping cart.
Yep.
Kind of like hey, the price, right? And then now, when you go to Costco or something like that, you kind of have to think about it because you can't fill that cart up anymore.
That's true. That's true.
So small things like small things like eggs, milk, all those prices has been increased already.
Yep.
What do you think about the housing?
Yep.
The price of the house, everything's a chain effect.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all going to impact to the housing market as well.
Yeah.
And then, with the fact that, because of the newer trends, right now, before it's people looking for jobs, now more like companies looking for people to work them. And then
Yeah.
they start to create the flexibility of, you know, you can work from home rather than work in the
Yes.
office. So that's actually going to create more demand into the housing market because
Yeah.
they save a lot of commute time.
Yeah. Yeah. This, I did a video a couple weeks ago about the supply chain issues that the builders are still having. It's not over by any means. Towards the end of last year, it got a little bit better. It wasn't long, but there's still a big issue with the supply chain, getting supplies for these builders to build these homes, and then the trades. It's nice to have the supplies, but if you have nobody to build the house, it doesn't really matter, right? You got all the supplies,
Yeah.
but you got nobody to build the house, and so
Yeah, it's just so crazy. Like
yeah,
one of the home that we closed last month, right? So it took about like almost a month because builders waiting for appliances,
yeah,
and then later on, builders like, hey, we have to close it no matter what. We can bring you appliances later, but you
yeah,
have to close this. Buyer wasn't happy because they
yeah,
want a complete home,
yeah,
but it is what it is.
yeah,
Builder,
yeah. I
fine, you
got it.
build this house, last year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then you order it maybe let's say last year in the same area it was like what, but when they purchased the house on the contract it was like maybe 370.
yeah,
Now the same home in the area 500. So now the builder has to option that. Well, if you want it back out, it's your loss.
yeah. And that's why this supply chain issue. A lot of these builders are now they're just specking out the neighborhoods or
Yeah,
specking out streets because they don't
yeah,
want the buyer to. And I've had clients that have gone through this recently where they pick certain things to go in the house and then they have to change it because the builder's like, hey, we can't get that anymore. We can no longer get that tile. We can no longer get that backsplash. We can't get it anymore. You got to pick something else. And so
mhm,
to combat that, a lot of these builders are just saying, you know what, we're going to spec out. we're going to, this
exactly.
is what's going in this house because they feel more confident that they can at least have those supplies, the stuff that they've already chosen. And then they're just telling the buyers, hey, this is what's going in the house. Do you want it or not? And if you say
Well, man,
no,
that is just so smart.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating for everybody. I mean, uh, tons of buyer fatigue right now. I mean, I know I've got so many clients right now that are pre-approved or pre-qualified, can't find a home, can't find a home. And
Exactly.
they'll text me, hey, I'm still looking. Hey, do you know what's going on in the market? Why can't I get a house? I mean, the frustration is going to continue throughout 2022, in my opinion, because yeah, you're right. I mean, I've heard some crazy numbers as far as overall, like for us in this country, where I think it's like 15 million units. Like, sure, it's an insane amount of inventory that we do not have right now. So what we experienced last year, it's going to continue. I just don't think, and I want to get your take on this because you've seen this, the over asking price like it was last year. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of that, not as much as we did last year. Um, but I want what do you think about that part? Because a lot of people think they still have to overbid to get a home, and maybe you do in some cases.
Well, this is the thing, okay? If you love your house will love you back. Okay, I've seen a couple of the houses like that. Okay,
Yeah.
so we were trying to see something in the area, and then we know that the area, that home typically is about 225.
Hmm.
Okay, but then again, I saw the listing agent. Okay, she listed the house for 299. And I mean, we know that in this area, finding anything under 200, it's like picking up, the finest cherry,
Right.
from a bunch. So she happened to host an open house on a Wednesday, and then she said, "Hey, Edward, come check our open house. Bring your investor over." I was like, "Sure, no problem. Let's go take a look." We walk over there. We got there. The line of people looking at the open house. It's like you going to Disney World.
Yeah.
Really? Two
Yeah.
blocks?
Yeah.
Okay, and then she ended up getting 150 offers. Okay, it was it was listed for 299, but she ended up selling the home for 375. This
Hold on.
happened a week ago.
Hold on. Let me make sure I heard you. Did you say 150?
No, the home was listed for 299,
No.
but she sold the home
How
for
many offers did you say they got?
150 offers.
Now
And
I've
then
heard of this.
my clients was cash offer. They're like, okay, we're gonna be a little
Uh,
bit more logical here. We're gonna go for the asking price because we have cash offer. But she's like, sorry, Ed, we got 275. We made it
wow.
already.
I mean, there's so much stress involved with that. Even
Yeah,
for the listing agent having to sort through all of this for their client, and then of course the buyers. Like when you hear that, if I'm a buyer, I'm like, what? 100 offers?
exactly.
So that frustration for buyers, I understand it, and we won't. I'm hoping that we don't have that kind of craziness this year. I think it
Well,
will slow down a little, but
the thing is, our house price compared to other states,
right.
we're still a deal.
Oh, no
We are
question.
still a
Yeah,
deal.
that's why. Yeah, that's why we got so many
I
people
mean,
moving.
they gave up their state income tax because over there they have to pay their state income tax. We have
Yep.
higher property tax,
Yeah.
but property tax is state income tax. It's still cheaper than income tax.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah. No.
yeah. So
100%. And that's why we have such an influx of people coming from all over the place. And for you, because like I said, I know you work with a lot of investors, and you brought up the cash. You got a lot of clients that do cash. I say a lot, but I know you got clients that do cash. So for buyers that are doing financing, this is who you're competing against, you right? And for me, of
yeah.
course, financing is great for me. uh, but my point
Well,
is,
okay, sorry,
no, I was just
sorry.
gonna say, my point
Remember,
is that,
remember I mentioned earlier, even though we paid, our client paid cash, still could
yep,
win it. So now
right,
cash is the king,
yes,
you
yeah,
know, because with the appraisal, we also have some investor got smart.
right,
They're like, okay, man, you know what? I'm gonna do appraisal waiver. We're gonna whip this right here.
right, yep,
Yeah.
yeah.
So.
That yeah, you're no, you're right. But I mean, a lot of buyers are, they are competing. If it's a similar offer and you've got one
Hmm.
cash, one financing, most sellers are going to go with cash. If it's a similar, they just are. There's just less
Hmm.
hoops for that buyer to have to jump through to get to the closing table, and that's what the seller wants. They want to get to the closing table as quickly as possible, in most situations. So when you're financing, you got to get a little more creative with some stuff, and that might mean you have to bid a little bit more, or you got to maybe more contingencies that favor the seller, not you. I don't mean a buyer contingency. I
Exactly.
mean a contingency that favors the seller. Um,
Hmm.
Lease backs. There's so many things that you can try and do to separate yourself that maybe somebody else can't do. And so again,
Exactly.
we're probably going to see quite a bit of competition again in 2022. And then the investors, because again, I know you work with a lot of investors. We got a lot of investors that are just buying up real estate in Texas overall, Houston for sure, everywhere. I got a lot of. I lived in San Antonio for 14 years. I still got a lot of people that I talk to. San Antonio's through the roof right now, and you got a lot of investors coming to buy. So I don't see that really slowing down this year. I really don't. So on the the investor side, a lot of these guys, yeah, they're coming in with cash, and it's hard to compete sometimes if you're a buyer and you're looking to move in as an owner occupant, but you got this investor paying cash for a deal, and they're like, I want the cash buyer as a seller, and so that frustration it's real. It's going to continue. I think it will continue, unfortunately, but it's still
Yeah.
a good time to own. It's still, if you can
Mhm.
find the deal, um, it's still a good time to own, largely because rates are relatively still low. Now, that's the second
It is so low.
reason. All right, this leads us to the second point here of why waiting to buy could cost you. So I want you to kind of touch a little bit on interest rates. I'll give you my perspective, but I love to hear what realtors
Yeah.
think about interest rates, because again, everybody's got their different take. But you know, you've heard it. Rates are going to go up. It's already started to
It's
happen.
going up. Yeah, it happened already. It happened already.
It has.
So a lot of time, my client asked me, can you take a look at my estimated my estimate?
Yep.
I'm looking at I'm just raising my eyebrow. I'm like, oh wow, in just 3 months,
Yep.
that's a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, the rates are going to fluctuate a lot during this year. I mean, I obviously this is what I do, so I'm in this world of real estate. So not real estate, but interest rates, and seeing what happens from day to day or week to week. All the projections, all the predictions, all these experts, all this stuff going on. So we've already started to see it go up. You know, I think we'll probably see them go down a little bit, but ultimately by the time we get to the year end, we're going to probably be in between 3.5 to 4% on a regular basis. I think by the time this year is over, according to everything that I see, read, and again, everybody has predictions. None of us have a crystal ball. You know, no one could have predicted COVID for any reason. And speaking of COVID, this new Omicron,
Mhm.
this is having an impact too in a lot of ways still. So, but as far as the interest rate goes, I want people to kind of get a little idea here. I'm going to share this because I want people to kind of get some perspective on what an interest rate would actually do to your monthly. So, if you're looking at a um, interest rate 3.1, which is actually we're not even really at 3.1 at this point, quite honestly. Probably a little bit higher than that right now. But I just want people to get some perspective here. So a couple of weeks ago, we're probably around 3.1, give or take here. So if you look at a purchase price of 353,900, 10% down, interest rate of 3.1, your estimated mortgage payment is 1360. That's just principal and interest payment only. All right. This is not taxes and insurance. At the projection for Q4 of this year, that same house, if there's 6% appreciation, same house by the end of this year would be 376. You put 10% down, you'd be financing 339, 214. Interest rates by Q4, 37. So same house now, same house. You'd be looking at 1561. So difference about $200. Multiply that over 30 years. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Yes.
So these interest rate changes are real. They're going to happen. And for us, we just gotta, let people know that, in my opinion, Edward, if you had 3.7 or 4.7, it's still better than renting.
Hmm.
You can't convince
It
me
is.
that just because the rates that, talk to people who bought a house back in the 80s, right? I talk to some people every now and then, and they laugh when people are complaining about 3.7.
I
Rates,
know. I
rates were like
know.
18%, right? Like, so
Yes.
perspective, perspective. But all of this could price some people out of the market, which happened last year. Some people probably got priced out of the market because they just couldn't get into a home. And that was with the lower interest rates. Now we're still experiencing some of that same competition moving into this year, but now we've got even higher. We got interest rates going up. So
Mhm.
refinances are probably going to slow down a little because of rates. But then you still
Right.
have the, the buyer fatigue for sure, trying to compete and jockey with these investors and all these other people that are coming into Texas. But you're never going to convince me that owning is not better. I don't care what the interest rate is. I really don't. It doesn't
Oh my
matter.
gosh. O- Only is also a savings, okay, right now.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yes.
if you think about renting a place, okay, yes, you got a good deal 2 years ago, but
Yep.
hey, every one of the landlord, even the apartment,
Yep.
are thinking about raising the price.
Yep.
Everything is raising up the price, okay. And then if you're able to buy yourself a home right now, you actually start saving early.
Yes.
Because earlier the chart that you showed us, right, we're gonna see some adjustment of the housing prices, and at the same time, the interest rate also
Right.
goes up.
Yep.
But then again, don't get discouraged from the the slightly adjusted interest rate. I
Yes.
mean, I remember when I first bought my house, it was actually a townhome down in the within the city area,
Uh-huh.
and then the interest rate back then, everybody's like, "Oh, it's so low," and that was 7.5%. And then I'm like, "Gosh, I
Uh,
gotta beat the interest rate. I have to buy this house now." And then boom, 3 years later, you got to 6%, 5%,
yep.
4%, 3%. Come on, man. I mean, even though if we go back to like maybe 4.25, it's
Yeah.
still low. Okay.
It is.
Yes, but then again, what's going to hurt you? Maybe it's a housing price. It goes
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, but then again, yeah, it's not as bad as before.
No.
Okay.
And we always adjust. People adjust. They may not like the fact that rates go. Look, I don't like it. Obviously, it's better for all of us, financially speaking. Here, if the rates are low, people buy more houses when the rates are low. So there'll be an adjustment period. But I show people. I showed a chart a couple weeks ago about rates back in 2019. The first part of 2019, we were in the fours. People don't really remember this. I remember they were in the fours the first part of 19, and then we start to see a little slow decline during that year. Then, of course, 2020, the first 3 months, we were somewhat hovering closer to three, and then of course COVID hit, and we know what happened after that. So, my point is, like, it wasn't that long ago that we were really around the 4%, pretty close to 4%. I'm sure, I
Yeah,
just showed that chart from today and what the projections are to Q4 of this year, but it wasn't that long ago that we were close to 4%. So rates, I always tell people, listen, don't let the interest rate dictate when you buy. Get your money right, get your finances in order, all that stuff. And when you're ready, buy when you can. If the rate's higher,
exactly,
it still beats renting. And there's nothing you can tell me
exactly.
that's going to change my mind when it comes to this. So, uh,
You see that $200 monthly adjustment from the end of the year till now.
yep,
That's going to be at least 150 adjustments on your rent as
yep.
well, right?
And you don't
So
get to write that off.
exactly.
Not that I'm
And one thing I love
a
about
little
housing, yeah.
disclaimer, talk to your accountant about writing off interest and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
there are obviously we know there are tons of benefits to owning. And
Uh,
again, no matter what the rate is in 2022, if you can own a home, own a home. It's just a better, and you're right. The savings, the forced savings that we get by this, and you had mentioned it. Talk about this real quick, Edgar, because you had mentioned there was a house that the price of the house. We said one was, oh no, you were talking about the one that got bid up. So it was priced at 299, but ended up selling for how much?
75.
375.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure if the person that is doing the finance, he's doing a full waiver, so he's able to provide additional cash on the side
Right.
to show the seller. Otherwise, seller wouldn't take that
Yeah.
risky move to go for such high offer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you might be running into a visual issue, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, my point is that there's your savings. Like, and I don't know how long those people, own that house, but I do know there are several people that have only owned a house, the last 2, 3 years, and they sold last year and made a ton of money, depending on where
Yeah.
your house was
Yeah.
located. I got people that had zero plans of selling. I know people that had no plans of selling the house last year,
Yeah.
and then they changed their mind when they
Yeah.
saw what was going on. People were cashing in. So that is where that forced savings comes in, right? I mean, you got people walking away with $7,500, $150,000. What else can you invest in that quick and get a turnaround? And again, there's no guarantee that this is going to continue. I don't think the appreciation is going to continue like it's been, but last year was like a lottery for a lot of people. So
Right.
that's where that forced savings that you were talking about. That's my point in bringing this all up.
And guys, remember, this is not just in Texas. This is
Correct.
throughout the entire world. Okay,
Yep.
around the entire United States, every house price, every state, the house price has been going up. If
Yep.
you open U.S. News, New York Times, whatever, you see prices are going up everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No question.
because it makes sense. Oh,
Yeah, it's an interesting time right now, man. I've been in this business 20 years now. Gosh, I'm dating myself, Ever. Um, not quite 20, I'm 19. Last year was just mind blowing. Anybody that's been around for a long time, it's never been like it was in 2021. I do hope we see honestly, I really hope we see a slowdown to give more people an opportunity, honestly, to get into a home that are wanting to, or like again, like I said, try to last year and just couldn't.
right.
But I appreciate. So I want you to give people your contact information. You guys got questions like Everett is so wise, and if you're looking for investment property, Everett's awesome with that stuff too. But give out your contact information. What's the best way for
Sure.
people to reach you?
Thank you, James. Best way to reach me, you can find me on Instagram at Realtor in Your Way, okay, or you can just give me a call at 832-453-8868, or just shoot me an email at realtorinyourway@gmail.com. That's the best way to find me.
Got it.
I'm always on my phone. I'm always checking my emails.
Yeah, you and me both, almost to a fault. But
Yeah.
we're in a very, very hectic business, and people need it. So I know I probably work more than I should, but it's an addicting business, and not just for money. It's just it's stressful, but it's fun too, right? We get to
I mean, it's kind of like an accomplishment where you help somebody to get a goal of have your own dream home,
yes,
owning something so precious. You know, it's a lot of time, I have clients bought the first home, and then the moment they close, they start the wife shed tears, but
yeah,
we finally did it.
yeah,
Wow, yeah.
yeah.
So it's
That's why we
yeah.
keep coming back, man. Yes, we get compensated. Now we do work our butts off too. Let's be very clear. This is not an easy business. I know people
A lot
think,
of people will think it's easy, but it's
yeah,
not. I
it's
mean,
not an
the
easy
key
business.
point, a good realtor, a good mortgage lender will
Yes,
always follow up, follow up, follow up. That is the most important thing.
no question about it. So, but yeah, you guys make sure you reach out to Edward. All his contact information, if you're watching on YouTube, it's on the bottom of the screen there. If you're listening, we'll get all that information in the show notes as well. Make sure you guys also go subscribe to the YouTube channel, mortgagebosstv.com. That is our mortgage YouTube channel, and reach out to Edward with any questions. Edward, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Before I'm gonna say another thing. For any of you out there that's homeowner, please love your house. Listen to your house. Update it. Okay,
Yeah.
you will be so glad whenever you decide to sell your house. Okay, yeah.
Yep. Great advice. Great advice. So you're looking for great agent, knows his stuff, been in the business a while, has got his own brokerage. He knows what he's doing. Reach out to Edward. And Edward, yeah, we can't go this long without talking again. So let's try and get on
Okay.
here and do this again sooner than later. It's gonna be another roller coaster of a year, right? It's gonna be interesting. I'm really interested to see how this year pans out. Um, because the last 2 years have been completely bonkers. Complete bonkers. So
Yeah.
thank you guys. Make sure you go subscribe and reach out to Edward as well. See you guys on the next show. Take care.
Thank you.